Oh, yeah. Is it Tuesday already? Is it time for episode 13, 14, and 15 of Andor Wait, what? There's no more Andor season 2? Are you kidding me? What are we going to do today? Andor's over? You're telling me that we don't get to see where Cassian and K2SO were off to? They're meeting with Tivik on the ring of Kafrene? Chat, what's going on? Why are we even here today? What's going on, chat? Oh, we're talking about what's next in Star. Oh, okay. A spin-off show of Andor? Possibly. Oh, okay, fine. That sounds good to me. All right, let's dive into it then. Let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? Yeah, that's right. We're back to being live on Tuesdays because Andor is over. I know. The blues are kind of setting in as Andor Season 2 has come to a close, and the last 5 episodes of that second season are some of the greatest Star Wars, if not the greatest Star Wars to ever have existed. And that's saying something. But the high is still very high coming off of Andor Season 2 as everybody is talking Star Wars. Even Battlefront 2, and that seems to be the big headline right now, has had a resurgence of a lot of people playing Battlefront 2 and begging for Battlefront 3 online. If you go into any comment section of a Star Wars video, it seems to be everybody begging for Battlefront 3. But Star Wars is back, as a lot of people would say, and better than ever, as Andor Season 2 came to a close last weekend, but we are not, or last week I should say, but we are talking about the future of Star Wars today. What is coming next for Star Wars content? We got a bunch of stuff coming in 2026, but 2025 is not over yet. Not yet, at least. Not yet. But it does have a few projects later on in the fall. And the biggest question of all, will Andor get a spin-off series? We're going to talk about all of it, but before we get into it, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Brandon Baker, what is up? Navarro, how we doing? Starship 66 in the house. Fearless, what is up? Freddie, how we doing? Navarro in the house. Nathan, how we doing? Mando United in the house. Darth Kratos, how we doing? 730 Evie in the building. Darth Plagueis lives, how we doing? Chris, what is up? Steve, what is up? All right, if you know the deal. If I missed you, just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the ending of Andor Season 2. This big, epic end that we knew was going to go directly into Rogue One. Not only did they perfectly play that out, giving us characters that remain alive, like Clea, Vel, Wilmon, characters that we didn't think would stay alive, characters we thought would die, even Dedra, who ends up in a Narkina 5-looking prison. That was awesome, because we thought they were all going to have to die, much like the Bad Batch Season 3. You go into that finale of the Bad Batch Season 3 going, they're all going to die, or I did at least, because how else would they exist if they aren't in all the next projects? That was the same sort of thought process I had going into the finale of Andor Season 2, and yet here we are with Clea, Vel, Wilmon, Dedra, and probably some others that I'm missing, are still alive. And they aren't in Rogue One, and they aren't in the original trilogy. Oh, Bix, of course, which we'll talk about today. Because the final scene of that second season was this. Cassian has a child. Not just any child, a child with Bix, the love interest from Season 1 and Season 2. And now the big question that has been thrown around the Star Wars fandom is, will we ever see these characters again? Will there be a spinoff of the Andor series? And that's, honestly, if you asked me this a week and a half ago, I would have said absolutely not. And actually, a bunch of you did ask me a week and a half ago, and I said absolutely not. But the way that the finale went, the way that many of those characters remained alive, leaves it up for interpretation. Leaves it up for the possibility of seeing more of these characters. So my question to you guys is, do you want a season, or not a season 3, sorry, that's impossible because Rogue One exists. Do you want a spin-off of Andor Season 2, or Andor in general. A spin-off of maybe Bix, or maybe even the rebellion afterwards, after Cassian dies, the inner workings of the rebellion during the events of the original trilogy, but not Luke, Leia, and Han. The other side, the people who didn't get the gold medals at the ceremony at the end of A New Hope, the unsung heroes. Would you want to see a spin-off series of Andor? Well, you tell me in the chat. Let's actually put up a poll and tell me why if you say yes, why if you say no. Let's put up a poll in the chat. If you have not smashed a freaking like on this stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Get on that. But let's do that. Okay. Do you want, that's not how you spell you, do you want a spin-off series of Andor? Yes or no? You tell me in the chat. Honestly, I've still been leaning more towards the no. I don't know if there's really enough there to give you a whole Bix or Cassian Andor Jr. series. However, I do think the likelihood of seeing these characters again is pretty high. Whether it's in animation, some sort of Tales of the Rebellion type deal, or if the rumored show about Omega and Hera Syndulla during the time of the original trilogy, as rebels. Hera Syndulla and the Ghost, Omega, and of course Hera having that background, and we see at the end of the Bad Batch Season 3, Omega go to join the rebels. So possibly getting an animated series during the time of the rebellion, during the time of the original trilogy, that could incorporate characters like Vel, like Clea, like Wilmon, and even possibly Bix and the kid. So tell me in the chat, yes or no to the spin-off series, and if so, what the hell would it be? Because right now, 60%, oh my God, 60% of you guys say yes. What would that show be? What would it be? As we look to the future of the Star Wars content, we have very, very little live-action series. We're going to talk about the future of the content in Star Wars, 2026 being probably the craziest year for Star Wars content of all time. And the fact is, Ahsoka Season 2 is the only live-action Disney Plus series that exists, at least that we know of, because there's probably a bunch in the works right now that have yet to be announced. Well, they didn't announce any at Star Wars Celebration. So right now, as we sit here on May 20th, is it 20th? Yeah, 2025, at 2:08 p.m. on a Tuesday, we have one live-action Star Wars Disney Plus show in the works, and that is Ahsoka Season 2. We're going to talk a lot about Ahsoka Season 2 later on in this stream as we're talking about the next Star Wars projects and how great it's going to be, but that's it. There's no other ones. So maybe, just maybe, a spin-off series of this Andor show could be in the works with one of these characters, whether it be Clea or Bix or who knows. But tell me in the chat what you think. I see a bunch of people saying absolutely not, no spin-off series. A Luthen spin-off series would be peak. The problem with the Luthen spin-off series is, guess what? He died! Spoiler alert. Hey guys, we're going to be talking about some spoilers from Andor Season 2 if you haven't noticed it. He dies at the end of Season 2. So continuing that story, it would have to be a prequel. And honestly, Stellan Skarsgård, as great as he is an actor, he's not very good at the whole aging backwards type deal, because that's almost impossible for any human. So, and I say almost, for any human. So to do a Luthen backstory show, it would have to be some sort of Tales of the Rebellion type deal. You know? So I don't think that's possible. Dedra breaking out of jail, I've heard that one too. That's again, would you guys watch a full-on show of Dedra breaking out of prison? Because I don't think that's even on the radar, and I don't think that's really going to be a popular decision. Let me throw some facts at you, Chad. The fact is, Andor Season 1 and Season 2 are both spectacular, and I believe that's a fact. It's not a fact, but it's my personal opinion. The fact is that not many people watch Season 1. More people watch Season 2, but not a lot of people even watch Season 2. It's not their most popular show. The Mandalorian still is. That's why Din and Grogu are going to the big screen. And again, we'll talk about the future slate of Star Wars content in a second. But in terms of Andor, the series as a whole, it's not that popular. Although it is one of the greatest Star Wars pieces of content to ever exist, in my personal opinion, it's not the most popular. So to put a spin-off series of that, one of your lesser popular shows, probably financially is not a great decision. Even though season 2 is at a 98% of Rotten Tomatoes, the last 5 episodes are the highest rated episode, the 5-run episode of any series ever on television, period, end of sentence. And even though season 1 was critically acclaimed, it still doesn't matter because the viewership numbers aren't there. It's almost like with Andor, we're talking about the exact opposite of The Acolyte, but it's the same at the same time. Because The Acolyte and Andor, viewership-wise, are very similar. One got a second season, one didn't. One was extremely welcomed in by a large portion of the fandom, and one wasn't. So they're very similar shows and very different content-wise, but the conversation around them of would you make a spin-off show? Would you make a season 2? All that stuff is very similar. So, I don't know. I don't see a world where we get an Andor spin-off series, but at the same time, because it was so critically acclaimed, because the fans who did watch it loved it so much, there'll be a fight for it. There'll be a fight online for some sort of spin-off show. What it would be, I don't know. I don't know. That's for you to decide and you to tell me in the comment section. But a Dedra Prison Break show is probably out of the picture. I don't see that happening. But hey, you tell me in the chat. Dedra breaks out of prison and hunts the galaxy for cereal. Did you mean cereal or actually cereal? Because cereal's dead. So maybe actual cereal. Now that would be a show. Star Wars Meg had an idea that if Dedra survived post Return of the Jedi, she gets out and escapes, and a Ranger of the New Republic, or the Rangers of the New Republic are after her. The Rangers consist of Andor's survivors. Again, very far-fetched. You're talking post-original trilogy, all these characters survived, and now you're bringing the band back together to hunt down Dedra Meero? What's the point in that? Clea, Vel, and Wilmon work with the Bothans to get the second Death Star plans. It is kind of ironic that you bring that up. I don't know if that was a joke or not, because either way it could be taken. Because the reality is that many Bothans died to get the plans for the second Death Star, okay? That's what Mon Mothma says in Return of the Jedi. That concept could be turned into a movie or a show. And before you go, Mike, that's stupid. I don't want to see a bunch of Bothans die trying to get the second Death Star. But that's what Rogue One is. That's what Andor Season 1 and Season 2 came off of, is the idea that how the hell did Princess Leia obtain the Death Star plans? The first line of the opening crawl of A New Hope, of the original Star Wars, it explains it vaguely. Let me pull it up really quickly. Does anybody have it memorized off the top of their head? Opening crawl Star Wars. Here we go. A New Hope. That's probably better. Let's see. It is a period of civil war. Rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil Galactic Empire. Well, what's the next line? Oh, okay. During the battle, Rebel spies managed to steal secret plans for the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. So right there, the first two sort of lines, I guess, of the opening crawl of Star Wars gets turned into three of the greatest Star Wars projects of all time. Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, and Rogue One, what people are calling now the fourth and probably the best Star Wars trilogy. You could argue in the original trilogy because of its nostalgic value, because of it being the first ever Star Wars anything, and it, of course, established the world that we live in. But it's probably one of the greatest trilogies of all time. And it's not even a trilogy. But just those two lines of the opening crawl of the original Star Wars gets turned into a masterpiece of a movie and 2 seasons of the greatest series, or one of the greatest series of all time. So why can't they do the same thing with the Bothans that died getting the plans for the second Death Star? Well, it's a possibility. More now than ever, but I seriously doubt it. Okay. I like where your head's at, though. I like the ideas we're coming up with. a Clea spinoff show. I feel like if you're going to go with any character, especially after that final arc, Clea is the one. I saw the most insane thing on the interweb yesterday. Okay? Listen to this. Clea's actress, don't remember her name. Somebody help me on the chat. Elizabeth, maybe? No. I don't know. You tell me in the chat, what the hell's her name? The actress of Clea, that was her first real acting job. She just came out of school, drama school, acting school, whatever it is. She just got out of school, and this was her first job, like real official job. You know what I mean? That's insane. Talk about immediately becoming a Star Wars legend. The Star Wars fandom absolutely loves the character of Clea. A lot of people saying even after that last arc that she became their favorite character in the entire series. And now the possibility of getting more storytelling with that character in the Star Wars universe would be insane. That would be insane. So I saw that yesterday and I thought that was pretty crazy that that was her first ever acting job. Wild. Okay. Mike, obviously Cassian's son dies getting the second Death Star plans for Return of the Jedi. He wouldn't be old enough. Like that, this child right here that we see at the end of season 2, he was probably just born. Maybe he's a year old because there's a year gap in between the arcs. So she leaves the rebellion to go have the kid, and then it's a year later. So he's probably about anywhere from 9 months to a year old. So if he's a year old here, right around the time of A New Hope, the original trilogy, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, only spans across 3 years, maybe 4, 3 or 4 years, 3 or 4 years. So this kid would only be 3 years old, 4 years old, getting the second Death Star plans.
Incorrect.
I don't think so. But the possibility of getting to maybe see like a Cassian Jr. in the Mandoverse would be kind of cool. I don't know if that's what they're setting up here, but it would be kind of cool. Yeah. Absolutely. Tales of the Bothans. Now that's a possibility. Elizabeth Duleyu. That's her name? Okay, thanks. Elizabeth Duleyu. There you go. Clay is my third favorite character. Okay, well, what's your favorite character in Andor Season 2, chat? Tell me in the chat. For me, it was Luthen, and it continued to be Luthen all the way up until he died. And I think it's still Luthen. Like Clea, yes, she stole the show in that final arc, but Luthen to me from the very beginning, and I've been seeing all these edits online of like Luthen's speech from season 1 and then going into his conversation with Dedra in season 2. It's so good. People online are just great at editing shit together to make you feel all emotional like. But Luthen is by far my favorite character, and it stayed that way all the way to the end. Even though he wasn't in season 2 as much as he should have been. But yeah. Just saw a post that Mon Mothma is not in A New Hope. Crazy. What do you mean? She's in Return of the Jedi, not A New Hope. Return of the Jedi is her first appearance. Indeed. So I'm guessing that Cassian Jr. would be about 10 years old in the Mandoverse. Yeah, probably around there. Well, let me throw something crazy at you. And I know Andor's not about the Force. It's not about the Jedi, whatever. There was that Force healer in episode 7 that told Cassian about his future, told Cassian he was going to be this messenger, what his purpose was in the galaxy. And when they went back to their house, throw me a 1 into the chat if you remember this conversation, when Bix is like, look, buddy, I've had dreams like this before, almost implying that she maybe has a little connection to the Force there. Possibilities of Bix being Force sensitive or Force... I don't even know. The problem is the definition of the Force that we've gotten so many times before from Yoda, from Obi-Wan, from Ahsoka Tano, it's that the Force goes through everyone. It's in everybody. And the only difference between a Jedi and a regular normal person in the galaxy is training and just birth talent, midichlorian count, or birth talent, whatever you want to call it. However many midichlorians you're born with, that obviously gives you an advantage to other people, but everybody has the Force flowing through them. It's just in terms of training to be able to wield that Force. So some people are more powerful than others. Like the amount of training that Yoda does versus the amount of training that Anakin Skywalker. This is bad. Let me rewind and rephrase. The amount of training that Han Solo does versus the amount of training that Anakin Skywalker does. If they do the same amount, Anakin's going to be far more powerful because he's the chosen one and his midichlorian count is so high. However, any amount of training can probably provide some sort of force ability, whether it's to be able to actually push something with the force or just to be able to sense something or whatever it is. So, the possibility, and I know it's crazy, but hear me out, the possibility of seeing Cassian Andor's child going to Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, possibly becoming friends with somebody, Fearless says in the chat, Jason Syndulla, Grogu, Ben Solo. How tragic would it be if Cassian Jr. dies at the hands of Kylo Ren as he falls to the dark side and destroys Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple? That would be brutal. So the likelihood of that happening, I would say, is very low. But they did tease at the fact that Bix has some sort of force connection. She dreams about Cassian's future and she sensed all this stuff. So maybe Cassian Jr. is a force user. Maybe he goes to train with Luke Skywalker and all those others and dies at the hands of Ben Solo as he falls to the dark side and sets up the sequel trilogy. It would be cool. I mean, it would allow us to connect all these different projects together. But hey, I'm already killing him off, you know? He's 1 year old and I'm already trying to predict the end of his life. Okay, moving on. Somehow Luthen returns. No, I don't want that. His end was perfect. Like, I didn't know how they were going to kill off Luthen, but they did it in a very, very good way. Yeah, very good way. Okay, still 60% of you guys are saying yes to a spin-off show of Andor, so please tell me in the chat what the hell you think that would be. Please. Okay, but as you do so, let's talk about this. What? Okay, let's talk about the future slate of Star Wars content. So Star Wars Celebration was just a few weeks ago, right before Andor Season 2 started. And I think Andor Season 2 kind of made us forget that what's coming for Star Wars content in the very near future, like next year, from now until 12 months from now, we are living it up as Star Wars fans. Absolutely living it up. We do have a little bit of a break here for a couple months. We got some stuff in the fall. But once 2026 hits, we got banger after banger after banger. For me specifically, my top 3 favorite characters all time, as you guys know, are Anakin, Ahsoka, and Maul in that order. And for those 3 characters, next year is going to be like,
this is where the fun begins.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. What's next for the Star Wars universe and what order it's coming out in and all that other stuff. Before we get to it, actually, I forgot I wanted to do this too. I put up 2 community polls in the community tab on the channel over the last couple days, and they absolutely blew my mind. Andor Season 2, of course, was very, very good, and people are living on that high for the last week or so. However, I did not think the high was this high. I put up a poll 4 days ago with over 31,000 votes for what is the best live-action Star Wars show, or what is your favorite, is how it's worded. And these results absolutely blew my mind. Not only is Andor in the lead with 53%, it's not even close. It's not even close. The Mandalorian is at 33%, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series at 10%, and 4% saying others, and those other 4 are The Acolyte, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, and Skeleton Crew. Not a lot of love for Ahsoka. Not a lot of love for Ahsoka. As we, of course, did the tier list video last stream. But this was shocking. So I'm here to ask you, chat, what is your favorite live-action Star Wars show? Is it Andor, like all these other, 31,000. That's at least 15,000 people, probably closer to 17,000 people that say Andor is their favorite Star Wars show of all time. Did season 2 do that? Is this really the greatest Star Wars show ever? Tell me in the chat. What's your favorite Star Wars show? Live action, not animation. Take Clone Wars, take Rebels, take The Bad Batch, and throw it out the window, because that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. But live action wise, what's the best? See, I'm seeing still a lot of Mandalorian hype in the chat. I got an Acolyte, nice. Andor, yeah. Top 3 is Andor, Ahsoka, then Acolyte. Okay, valid. The Mandalorian, yep. See, I see a lot of love for Mando in the chat. Where's the love for Mando here? Well, I guess there's a lot of love. There's 33% is pretty good. It's in second still. But still shocked. Now, the question is this a recency bias thing? Like, because Andor only ended a week ago, is this still just like people on the high of Andor season 2? Or is this the reality? Is this the new reality, chat? Is Andor truly the greatest Star Wars show ever now? Skeleton Crew. I see some Skeleton Crew love in the chat. Ahsoka, yeah. Ahsoka. As many of you know, Ahsoka's my favorite. It's still probably my favorite. It's very tough. It's very, very tough. But what Andor season 2 did was I just didn't expect it. I didn't expect it at all. I was shocked at how good it really could have been. We knew the ending the entire time. We knew it. Where Cassian's story comes to an end. Apparently, not all of us knew it because I got absolutely yelled at all the time in comment sections for spoiling Rogue One, which is 10 years old, but not all of us knew. But some of us knew where Cassian's story ended. And yet still, they are capable of telling this incredible story as a prequel. Now, I got a question. When you put together the unironically ironic trilogy of Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, and Rogue One, if that is a trilogy, is it the greatest trilogy in Star Wars? Is it better than the original trilogy? Yes or no? The difference, of course, is sort of time, because Andor Season 1 is 4 movies, Andor Season 2 is 4 movies. 4 movies. So that would be 8 movies right there, and then Rogue One's the 9th movie, so it's pretty much its own saga. It's an Andor saga. But is it better than the original trilogy? Is it better than the prequel trilogy? Is it better than the sequel trilogy? Because I see some people online saying that it's the greatest trilogy of all time. I don't know about that one. Not. I see some yeses, though. Yes, it's better. Miles away better. Oh, my God. Even I played some old Battlefront games after watching some of Andor. That's what's really interesting to me, too. Because Andor is not the show that's like a big old battle. It's not the show with lightsabers and the Force, and yet so many people are going back to play these old Star Wars games. Battlefront 2, specifically, has reached this big old apex of active players for the first time in years. And that's because of Andor, the show that doesn't even have a big old battle in it. Fascinating. Fascinating. A New Hope is Andor Season 4. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Oh, hang on. We got a super chat. We got a super chat. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. Holy crap. Says, sad Andor is gone, but so unbelievably hyped for Ahsoka Season 2. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about all the future projects coming up here in a second, and let's just say, I can't wait. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here, so I appreciate it. And we're coming close to the end of this month. By the way, you know what happens at the end of this month, chat? Yeah, but we also have the giveaway, of course, at the end of every month for the members only as well. Yeah, so watch out for that. But I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. And yeah, it's sad to see Andor's gone, but because it was so good, it almost hasn't set in yet that it's over. I know it's been a week and we're not having an Andor watch party tonight, but it's still just, it hasn't set in. I'm still like, that was so good. Who else is just watching it over and over again? Like, it's just that good. And watching Rogue One afterwards, whew, insane. A New Hope was terrible until Lucas added the dinosaurs in Mos Eisley. What? Oh, the special edition. Yes, of course. And when he made Han shoot second. That's only when it became a good movie. Yeah. I think a lot of Andor love is for the grown-ups in the Star Wars community. They're the same people who watched the original trilogy, so they saw that as kids and now or in their mid-20s, and now they're middle-aged people. There's definitely something that can be said about that, for sure. Andor is geared towards more adult fandom, and yeah, absolutely, it's more accepting to the older crew. I don't know. I feel like The Mandalorian is just the same. Like, it's not as gruesome with some of the stuff, but in the opening episode, he's eviscerating Jawas with his second episode, I guess, he's eviscerating Jawas with his blaster. So I don't know. The Mandalorian's pretty dark in and of itself. And most of the other shows have some darker moments. I mean, you got Chimere chopping off people's heads. Boba Fett gunning down a bunch of people in his Slave One. You got a bunch of... the shows are dark. Obviously, Andor has a little bit more of a darker tone. But I don't know. Yeah, you got a point. Skywalker Academy with a very generous $5 holla says, if we get a spinoff of Andor, I won't complain. But do I want it? Nah, I'd rather have some more stories outside of that era. Yeah, I think I agree with that too. If we get one, sure, I'll watch it. But I'm not really like, let's get this started. You know, if we don't get this, I'm going to riot. I'm not at that point yet. No. Because what would it even be? And talking about moving out of the era, this era is pretty much closed. Andor Season 2 is almost the end cap, but it's in the middle. It's the middle cap of this era. Because this Rebel versus Empire stuff, the original trilogy era, the dawn of the... What is the era called? It's not the Reign of the Empire. It's post-Reign of the Empire. Rise of Rebellion? I don't know. On the Star Wars timeline, it's called something. But this era of Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, Rogue One, the original trilogy, Star Wars Rebels, Vader comics, it's pretty rounded out. Like, we almost got every single weekend covered. For the most part. Just about. So to put in another live-action show there, we don't really need it. We don't really need it. But hey, what are we going to do? Okay. Let's talk about the future slate of Star Wars. So, 2025, although it seems like everything is over, we do have 2 more Star Wars projects in 2025. And I believe in release order, it goes like this. Let's see. That one's in September. And this one's in October. Okay, I was right. So first things first, I know a lot of you guys really enjoyed this last year. I did too. It wasn't like the greatest thing of all time or anywhere close to that, but it was pretty cool. It was sort of a Star Wars what-if-y type of show. And that was Rebuild the Galaxy. Give me a 1 into the chat if you even watched Rebuild the Galaxy. Tell me in the chat if you watched Rebuild the Galaxy last year. It happened about last September probably, right? So season 2 comes out this September. But tell me in the chat, did you watch Rebuild the Galaxy? Did you like it? All that stuff. Because we're getting season 2 this year. Darth Jar Jar seems to be returning. We got Ahsoka Tano. Ashley Eckstein returning as Ahsoka, which she hasn't done in years, which I almost forgot about because I watch Ahsoka all the time. But this will release on September 19th, 2025. So that comes out this fall, and that's Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2. Season 1 was great. I mean, it got some... Yeah, there's Ahmed Best and Ashley Eckstein announcing it at Star Wars Celebration. Season 1 was great. You got Darth Jar Jar. You got some cool stories in there, but, you know, it is what it is. It's not anything spectacular, but it was pretty cool. Wow, a lot of you actually watched that. There you go. Loved it. Okay, there you go. It was so funny. It was. It had its moments. I actually just recently started rewatching it, just in snippets, and it was pretty funny. One of the first scenes, the main character, which I even forget his name, but he was talking around a campfire and he was telling the story of the Skywalker saga, and he's like, "Next time, maybe I'll tell you about Grand Admiral Thrawn and what he did." And we're like, "Yeah, let's hear that." But yeah, they got some Nerf herder references and all that stuff. The other project that's coming out this fall as well in 2025 is Visions Volume 3. So Visions Volume 3 got its release date at Star Wars Celebration, and it got 2 new, or was it 2 or just 1? I think 1 maybe. And a spin-off series. So Andor might be getting a spin-off series, but hasn't been announced yet. Visions is. Now, if you know me, you know, and if you saw where I even put Visions Volume 1 and 2 on my tier list, I'm not the biggest Visions fan. However, I know a lot of people absolutely love Visions. The anime style, all the different anime styles, I should say, are really, really cool, going around the world and giving us different styles of Star Wars and legends so that it doesn't contradict the canon of Star Wars. It's really cool. But this is coming out on October 29th, 2025. And not only that, but a spin-off series called The Ninth Jedi, which is an episode in season 1, is also coming in 2026, I believe. I guess it doesn't say here. Does it? I believe it's 2026. But yeah. Okay. So that won't come out until 2026. But Visions Volume 3 is in October of this year. So we got 2 more Star Wars projects that we know of. Again, let's not forget that Tales of the Underworld was announced about 3 weeks before it released. Maybe a month. So if they can do that, maybe there's something else that we don't know about that could be coming out at the end of this year or maybe even in this fall. But we do have 2 more Star Wars projects for this year, and that is Rebuild the Galaxy and Visions Volume 3. So just on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Visions Volume 3? Now, be honest, okay? Because I know a lot of you really, really love Visions. I know a lot of you really don't. But tell me in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Visions Volume 3? Ten out of 10, 5 out of 10, 10, 7, 3, 7, 0, 5, 7. Yeah, we're all over the place here. That's if not 0. Yeah, that's to be expected. Yeah. Visions Volume 3 excitement, 0. 3, 2, 32, okay. 3.5. I'll definitely watch it. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it. My hype level for it? No. Probably around a 4. You know, because the episodes like Ronin and The Ninth Jedi and the twins and stuff, like those episodes are really good. I'm looking forward to stuff like that. And I think season 3 has a lot of sequels to those episodes. So that's pretty cool. But it's Legends. And Legends can be really good sometimes, but also it's just like, you know, what are you going to do? I know a lot of people are really excited for it, and that's fan-freaking-tastic. But for me, about a 4. Yeah, about a 4. Okay. With that brings us in to 2026. And when I say that I think 2026 could be the greatest year for Star Wars content ever, I really mean it. Because we've had some really great years when you look back in recent past specifically, because yes, you have one Star Wars movie coming out in 2020 or 2005. Yes, you have one Star Wars movie coming out in 1999 or 1977 or whatever. That's cool. That's great. Of course, those movies are fantastic. But when you have these years now, in the 2020s for the most part, where you have, for example, 2020 had Mando Season 2, Clone Wars Season 7. That's a great year for Star Wars content. Look back a couple of years ago, we had Mando Season 3, Tales of the Empire, Ahsoka Season 1, and maybe something else. That's a pretty good year. Oh, and The Bad Batch Season 2. That's a pretty good year for Star Wars content. What else? There's a year where we had Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, and Andor, and Tales of the Jedi. That's a great year for Star Wars content. But I think next year, 2026, has the opportunity, and I think it will deliver to be the greatest Star Wars year for Star Wars content ever. Because 3 major projects that we know are coming out are going to blow our freaking minds, and there's likely to be a lot more announcements on their way that same year, and possibly even another Tales season. because they seem to be doing one of those every single year now. So let's start with what a lot of people seem to be most excited about. And again, if I go pull up the community tab here, this one is in first, surprisingly over The Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka Season 2. And that is Maul Shadow Lord. So this was announced at Star Wars Celebration just a couple months ago, or a month ago, whatever it was. And this is the next multi-season animated series. So tell me in the chat right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Maul Shadow Lord as we read this announcement, or I guess article, for this series? Because I think this will be the first one to come out in 2026, early in the year, maybe January, maybe February, around that time period, before The Mandalorian and Grogu does, comes out in theaters. But after the Clone Wars, Maul plots to rebuild his criminal syndicate on the planet untouched by the Empire, which many believe to be Dathomir, but we'll see. During the 20th anniversary Lucasfilm animation panel at Star Wars Celebration, surprise guest Sam Witwer took the stage to reveal his return to the galaxy as the star in the next animated series. Not just a one-off thing, animated series. Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. Witwer first portrayed Maul in the Clone Wars, later reprising the role in Rebels, and now the series is set after the events of the final season of the Clone Wars in Season 7, where Maul rises again to lead the underworld factions. So, if you forgot, Season 7 of the Clone Wars ends with Maul blasting off into hyperspace. After they crash the Venator, and Ahsoka and Rex have to kill all of the other clones, Maul escapes. He just sort of blasts off on his own. Actually, Ahsoka tries to hold the craft down, which is an incredible scene, but he blasts off. The next time we see him actually isn't Rebels. It's Solo, a Star Wars story, and it's in live action. There, he's the leader of the Crimson Dawn, and he's sort of the leader of the criminal underworld to an extent, where he's on Dathomir, and he's going to train Kira after the events of Solo. But other than that, until we see him years later in Rebels, where he's an old hermit, what they call the Shadow, the Inquisitors call the Shadow, on Malachor 5, we don't know what happened to Maul in between this time period. So getting to see that is going to be unbelievable. The trailer shown at Star Wars Celebration shows that we're going to be seeing Darth Talon, or at least a canon version of Darth Talon, and possibly setting up a new Sith Lord in the galaxy for a sequel or Mandoverse time period. Crazy stuff. But what the coolest part about this Maul series is that you can still, like Andor, tell a story where we already know the end of the character's life. Maul dies in the Twin Sons episode, one of the greatest episodes of Rebels and greatest episodes of Star Wars television, where he dies to Obi-Wan in the sand dunes of Tatooine. So we know where his story ends, much like we knew where Cassian's story ends. And now we're going to get a multi-season series about Darth Maul and the criminal underworld of Star Wars. If this all sounds familiar, it's not because you're having deja vu. This was the exact concept for what George Lucas's sequel trilogy was going to be. Darth Maul, Darth Talon, the criminal underworld of Star Wars, that is George Lucas's sequel trilogy. So they're taking aspects of that and putting it into this animated series. And if that doesn't excite you, I don't know what will. The excitement level for this show is very, very high, as you can see in the chat. We got 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 10, 8, 7, 8, 10, 9. Exactly. It's all very high. Very, very high. Yeah. So, Dead Mike, what's up? Yeah. Honestly, I didn't want to hear about Maul again. We got quite an arc for him in the Clone Wars, but now I'm a little more excited because of how much it might fill in the other characters that they could bring in. I mean, there's just a huge hole in Maul's story. I will agree with you that he has a great beginning, a great middle in the Clone Wars, and a great end in Rebels. Well, there's a big chunk of that middle that's missing. Very similar to a character that we know that's named Luke Skywalker, where we know the beginning of his story and we know the end of his story, but that middle is still very empty. Maul has this big old gap in the middle of his story, and that big old gap can, like you said, introduce or involve many other characters. We just got off the backs of Tales of the Underworld, another show that was pretty much pushed under the rug because Andor was so good. Tales of the Underworld just came out a couple weekends ago, and Asajj Ventress just got an apprentice and walked off into the sunset. So it's possible that Asajj Ventress and that same apprentice could appear in that Maul series. That's the same time period where this takes place. So that very well could happen. And of course, you could integrate all these other characters that exist at the same time. We know the criminal underworld so well. We know all these characters from the Clone Wars and just from passing and maybe even bounty hunters like Boba Fett and Cad Bane and seeing actual bounty hunters that we haven't seen in a long time, like Dengar, like Bosk, like Zuckuss. One of my favorites. So it allows us the opportunity to see a bunch of familiar faces in a brand new story revolving around one of the greatest characters in my personal opinion, and that is Darth Maul. So yeah, that one's got me pretty excited. And the reason I think that this is next, I'm going in an order here because it goes Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2, Visions Volume 3, and now this Maul series. The reason I think it's next is because what Sam Witwer had to say. He said that they've been working on this for over a year before Star Wars Celebration. They already had enough to show a full-on trailer to the people in attendance at Star Wars Celebration. So clearly, there's a lot already done in terms of this series. So it makes me believe that it could come out in early 2026 or maybe even late 2025, and Lucasfilm will be like, hey, surprise, here's Maul. So it would be a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. But that's what I think is going on with the Maul series. It's going to be very, very early 2026 before our next project, which is The Mandalorian and Grogu. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie just got, we'll read this in a second. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie just got a huge update at Star Wars Celebration just over a month ago, where we got to see a teaser trailer. It wasn't released publicly, but many of us watched that trailer. Give me a 1 into the chat if you watched the trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu that was released illegally, or leaked out, I should say. That trailer got us really hyped up. Not only seeing Stinky the Hutt flexing in a gladiator ring, that was pretty cool, but no, more so the hallway sequence of him taking down a 17 or whatever it was, stormtroopers, snow troopers on a planet that some believe to be Hoth, seeing these AT-AT walkers and getting the Empire and possibly teases at Grand Admiral Thrawn, like, all that stuff. Sigourney Weaver, being in that, being a New Republic pilot, an old Rebellion pilot, and that, of course, will become very relevant. It sounds like this movie is going to blow our minds. There's a reason that this is the first movie to be thrown into theaters in 7 years, 6.5 years, since The Rise of Skywalker, since 2019. So 2019 to 2026. Been almost 7 years since the last Star Wars movie went into the theaters. And there's a reason that they're starting it all with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It's a guaranteed success, as they've been putting it. So here's what we sort of got from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And the release date, by the way, is May 22nd, 2026. Yeah, the reason is money. Again, it's the most popular character. Although our poll in the community tab says otherwise, that Andor is the best show. This was after the fact, because before Andor season 2, Mandalorian was at the top of this list, and they see Grogu, they see Din Djarin, they see Pedro Pascal, and yes, it's money. I mean, they know what's a success, and that's Din and Grogu, and that's why it's going to be the next movie. But let's read this article. The Mandalorian and Grogu's action-heavy footage brings Baby Yoda, Grogu, to the big screen at Star Wars Celebration. So if you missed it, this is what happened. Lucasfilm and Disney revealed the first look at The Mandalorian and Grogu, the Star Wars film spun off of the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian TV show, at Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo, Japan. Jon Favreau, who directed the movie and co-wrote it with Star Wars guru Dave Filoni. Let me take a sec. Hang on, chat. Hey, go full screen. Go full screen. I've been seeing online people giving crap to Dave Filoni. What are we doing? Do we not understand? Have we lost our goddamn minds? The guy we want in charge of the whole damn thing is now getting shit on? The guy who gave us the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, the guy who's given us some of the greatest content. What are we doing? So, yeah, just got to back up my boy. Just got to back up my boy, Dave. God. Okay, but Star Wars guru, Dave Filoni, we're on hand to introduce this trailer. The action-heavy footage that the audience see has stormtroopers inside of an AT-AT preparing to engage for battle, and then in what appears to be a sort of homage to the opening of the original 1977 movie in which the rebels prepare for and then were massacred by an invading stormtroopers, the Mandalorian cuts open the hull of the AT-AT and then, in one continuous take, blasts, stabs, pyros, and fights his way through the snow troopers, making his way through the hull and then hallway, ending at a door of the cockpit, which quickly closes. The sizzle reel also shows the mysterious character played by Sigourney Weaver speaking to Din and Grogu, reminding Mando that he works for her. Because at the end of Mando Season 3, he does go to work for the New Republic. New Republic. So that's what's going on there. Where the hell was I? Oh, several grandly staged battle scenes followed the AT-AT, followed by the AT-AT falling off the side of a snowy cliff, Grogu using his powers, the Force, Grogu swimming underwater, possibly towards the Mythazar that we saw in Mando Season 3. The reel concluded with a brief look at Jeremy Allen White's Rada the Hutt, or Stinky the Hutt, Jabba's child, yes, the son of the crime lord Jabba the Hutt, raising his hands, flexing his biceps, in triumph, in some sort of fighting arena, like Thor versus the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. And then cutting to Grogu in the stands and eating what passes as the Star Wars version of popped corn, starring Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver. The weirdest part about this movie is the fact that it is almost a year from now. Oh my God. So it's May 22nd, 2026. So we're almost exactly a year away from this movie. The fact that we only know that Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver are going to be in it. That's pretty weird. I guess we know Jeremy Allen White too, and Grogu, but for a movie that's this big, you think we'd start to, know a little bit about the cast a little bit here? It's a little strange. But both of whom received standing ovations, joined filmmaker Jon Favreau on the stage and welcomed some small, surprisingly lifelike animatronic BDX droids on stage. So, yeah, we don't really have to get into more of this here, but this is sort of what happened. We got some more Anzellans going on there. And Din and Grogu right there, together at last. Let's take a second. Round of applause for Pedro Pascal chat in the chat, please. Pedro Pascal's on a crazy heater right now. Not only is he Din Djarin in The Mandalorian in Star Wars, but he's currently The Last of Us Season 2 is releasing. He's going to be Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four coming out this summer. Like, what is he not in right now? Like, damn. Pedro Pascal. But there you have it. Next up, after Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2, Visions Volume 3, Maul Shadow Lord. We finally make it to May of next year, a year from now, and that is The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So for the next 12 months, we're still eating pretty damn good as Star Wars fans. The next multi-season animated series, the next Star Wars movie for the first time in over 6 years, and a couple other smaller projects. As I call Visions a small project. A couple other smaller projects. So although Andor Season 2 is over, we're still living it up as Star Wars fans. Now, before you go, Mike, you're forgetting one. I would never ever forget Ahsoka Season 2. But I don't think it will be coming out before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, so we'll have to wait until at least halfway through next year to be getting this series. Sadly. What's going on here? I don't know. Okay. But Ahsoka Season 2. Tell me your hype level for Ahsoka Season 2 in the chat right now on a scale of 1 to 10. For me, it's like a 12. Conservative 12 out of 10. Easily all day long. Like, this isn't even a conversation for me. And Star Wars Celebration got me even more excited. What Dave Filoni came out on stage and was talking about with this war in the Star Wars galaxy, well, also across on a different galaxy, Peridia, Ahsoka, Sabine, Hugh Wang, and Anakin Skywalker, because Hayden Christensen's coming back, and that seems to be like a nothing burger. Hayden Christensen's coming back for Season 2. In that galaxy, we're going to be getting introduced to brand new characters, brand new species, possibly Abeloth. Baylan Skoll's been recast. Like, we got some crazy stuff going on. And in the regular Star Wars galaxy, a big old war, like I said, but it's between Admiral Akbar and Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yes, Harrison Dula will be there. Yes, more Chopper. Yes, more Ezra. Yes, more Zeb. The Rebels crew is coming back together, except for Sabine and Kanan, R.I.P. But they're getting back together. And we're getting this big old war in the Star Wars. Possibly, highly likely, setting up the Heir to the Empire movie or Dave Filoni's Star Wars film. Probably a trilogy. But I see a ton of hype in the chat for Ahsoka Season 2. 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 7, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 8, 10, 7, 10, 6, 10, 7, 10, 1,000, 10, yeah, 7-ish. Yeah, it's still kind of far off. It is still kind of far off. We're talking over a year from now. Yeah, the Hugh Wang strikes back. Maybe. Okay, but let's talk about Ahsoka Season 2 for a second, okay? This article is perfect. It came out just a couple days ago, and it says Ahsoka Season 2, release date, speculation, story. But what the hell? Story, cast, everything else you need to know about the next live-action Star Wars show. Okay. Ahsoka Season 2 is in production as we speak. It's filming right now, as it started filming a couple weeks ago. Which means it's no longer until... Wait, what? Oh, sorry. It's not longer until we'll be returning to the galaxy far, far away, and Peridia 2, of course. I wonder if they'll just be calling this other galaxy Peridia forever. Because Peridia is just a planet that they're on. You know? Mike, Abeloth is coming. She is bringing Night Sisters and possibly the Vong. That would be crazy. I don't know if they're going to go down the route of introducing the Yuuzhan Vong into canon. I feel like if you're introducing Abeloth in the Mortis Gods to the people who haven't seen the Clone Wars in the animated series, that's going to be a lot. To introduce the Vong as well will be even crazier. But hey, never say never. How does Ahsoka get back to the known galaxy? Cal Kestis, maybe? Honestly, I don't think she does. I don't think she does. Now, she talks about at the end of Ahsoka Season 1 that she's there for a purpose. Now, that purpose might be to keep Abeloth there. I'm not too sure. But I don't see Ahsoka Season 2 ending with Ahsoka going back home. Maybe it does, but I just don't know. Maybe Sabine goes back home with Hugh Wang, but Ahsoka stays. I don't know. That's speculation for over a year from now. Like, this is way too far off. So let's talk about it. For a while, the new season was totally a mystery, but now, thanks to Star Wars Celebration 2025 and creator Dave Filoni, not Jon Favreau, but Dave Filoni, revealed plenty of news about the show. The latest updates and other behind-the-scenes glimpses of the shadowy silhouettes, courtesy of Snips herself, Rosario Dawson. Yeah, have you guys seen this? Rosario Dawson posted this online of Ahsoka, looks like Dave, and probably Sabine as well. And it was for George Lucas's birthday. Happy birthday, George Lucas. Thanks for creating the Star Wars family that I couldn't be more grateful for being a part of. A little behind-the-scenes action there. It doesn't give too much away, but still pretty cool. Below, we've gotten everything that you need to know about Ahsoka Season 2. Okay, perfect. Release date speculation. We don't have a specific release date, but here's what we think's going on here. Ahsoka Season 2 does not have a release date. It's now in production, though. And as Rosario Dawson confirmed from the behind-the-scenes pictures on her Instagram, no release window is revealed or was revealed during Star Wars Celebration, but it looks likely that we can expect Ahsoka Season 2 to be released in the fall of 2026. I'd say summer/fall. Similar to Season 1, which came out in August, so I guess the end of summer into the fall. But here we're talking about the plot, and this is what Dave Filoni really gave us a lot about. Ahsoka ended with Ahsoka Tano, Sabine, and Huge Wang. Why did he leave out Huge Wang? Like, what are we doing here? He's important too. While Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger both made it home safely to the main Star Wars galaxy, in the final moments of the season, we see Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost watching over Ahsoka and Sabine and Huge Wang with a smile. Now, a lot of this was sort of brought up the questions, can Anakin not be a Force Ghost in the main Star Wars galaxy anymore, and that's why he can only appear on Peridia? Is he on Peridia to keep Abeloth prisoner? Again, that's for another time. But Filoni shared his first piece of concept art back in early 2024, and that looked like this. Wait, what? Oh. Looked like this. The story continues as you see Sabine and Ahsoka standing on the Mortis God statue of the father. That's where Bale and Skull was looking either. That's where he was at the end of Season 1. Providing some more clues. Bale and Skull was last seen on the giant statue of the Father, a Force God representing the balance between the light and the dark side, who was killed in the Clone Wars. Yeah. It would seem that Bale and Skull is seeking out a greater power. And the first piece of concept art for the new season shows Ahsoka and Sabine on that same statue, which we just... That right there. That right there. Pointing in the distance. Could Bale and Skull be seeking the power of the world between worlds? Doubt it. One thing we know for sure is that the Mortis gods will factor into Ahsoka Season 2 in the plot. It's a big mystery. Dave Filoni teased that the statue's on Peridia at Star Wars Celebration. The son's there, the father is there, the daughter is mostly there because her head was cut off. So yeah, we figured it out. It's a good story. I don't doubt that. Game of Thrones star Rory McCann will be taking over as the late great Ray Stevenson. As we see here. This was shown at Star Wars Celebration. Rory is now the new Bale and Skull. And it looks like they're not going to try and hide his face or like mangle his face or anything to make him look more like Ray Stevenson. They're just going to, just go through it, But Rory is now the new Bale and Skull. Also, at Star Wars Celebration, Hayden Christensen confirmed that he will be returning as Ahsoka Tano, as Anakin Skywalker, unless he's changing roles, but as Anakin Skywalker, who's also known as Sky Guy, and will factor into the plot so far. So let's speculate a little bit here about Anakin's involvement. Are we talking Force Ghost Anakin here, or more flashbacks to the Clone Wars? Because there were rumors, a lot of them, that Ewan McGregor would be also in this Ahsoka Season 2. Most likely as a flashback. Because unless you're doing Force Ghost Obi-Wan, which I really doubt they'll do. Ryan, what's up? I don't know. You tell me in the chat. Is this going to be Force Ghost Anakin, or are we looking at some more flashbacks? I mean, I'd be down for some more flashbacks, but you tell me. And while you do, can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Bum-ba! 20th anniversary. Revenge of the Sith was, what, yesterday? Like the real 20th anniversary? I think it was yesterday, right? Yeah. Okay. What if we get live action Clone Wars flashbacks? Well, that's what I'm saying. We might. If Ewan is truly coming back, and we're getting Hayden too, the likelihood of seeing Clone Wars flashbacks is pretty high too if you have to explain the Mortis gods. Because think about it from a fan, I guess normie fan as they call them, who hasn't seen the animated shows, who hasn't really done the deep dive into Star Wars like many of us have, where we watch everything, dissect everything, learn everything that we possibly can. You don't know who the Mortis gods are. You don't know that Ahsoka is really the living embodiment of the light side after the daughter was put into her. You don't know any of that stuff. So, as an audience member, Dave Filoni's going to have to tell that story, retell that story, explain how Ahsoka is the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, explain who the Mortis gods are in Ahsoka Season 2, and do it in a way where it doesn't take away from the fans who have already seen that, who do already know this information. In a Clone Wars flashback with Ewan back as Obi-Wan and Hayden back as Anakin, I mean, I'm all for that. The only question is, how do you trigger that? Because the trigger for the first Clone Wars flashback in Season 1 was the World Between Worlds, and I really doubt we're going back to the World Between Worlds in Season 2, because that's only been used twice, and it's something that shouldn't really be used much, because it's so mysterious in the ways that it works. So the flashbacks would have to be done a little bit differently. Yeah. Okay, but going back here. Plus, Dave Filoni also revealed that Admiral Akbar will appear in the new season, and he'll be facing off against Grand Admiral Thrawn. Expect an epic naval battle from two of Star Wars' greatest strategists. The character of Admiral Akbar has a big Legends story that's told, I guess, throughout the Heir to the Empire trilogy with Timothy Zahn. But in canon, Akbar is really only at the Battle of Andor. Like, he doesn't do much in the sequel trilogy. And even in the original trilogy, he doesn't do too much either. So getting to see more of Akbar is going to be great. Getting to see him go toe-to-toe with Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be fan-freaking-tastic. But what I really think is going on here is Thrawn needs to be shown. Like, we need to show how effective Thrawn is as a general and show how he can compete with lightsaber wielding Force users like Luke Skywalker, like Ezra Bridger. Like, that has to be conveyed in Ahsoka Season 2. It was done pretty well in Ahsoka Season 1, but he's sort of just trying to get off of Peridia the whole time. So we get a little bit of his strategic genius as he stops Ahsoka and the others, and then he escapes. But we need more of that. We need him to get a big old win. And actually, in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, he could get a big old win where he maybe takes down someone that Din loves, or even Din Djarin himself, which would be pretty crazy. But only time will tell with that. So, as we keep on going here, thanks to the teaser trailer that Dave Filoni patched together, concept art, and a retro voiceover, we also know that Sabine and Ahsoka will be battling giant evil droid-looking things while battles take place across the two different galaxies. And she'll eventually have to have another showdown with Bail and Skull, and possibly Bail and Skull's new friends. And of course, Shin Hati. But when we might get a trailer, well, probably not for a while. Okay, cast. Let's talk about the cast. Hayden Christensen, of course, is revealed to be returning. But Natasha is back as Sabine. Lars is Grand Admiral Thrawn. Iman as Ezra. Mary as Hera. Rory now as Bail and Skull. And Ivana as Shin Hati. There will be a lot more. Huge Wang is probably going to be back, but hasn't been confirmed yet. These are only confirmed people. Admiral Akbar, I'm sure. Absolutely. Hang on. Sorry, I just got a text. Hang on, chat. Sorry. That was an important message. Okay. Where was I? So we don't really know anybody else. Like Ewan McGregor, like I mentioned about earlier, he could be possibly there, but that's not going to be confirmed for a long time. Honey Badger's in the house. What's up, Honey Badger? How we doing?
Hello there.
Okay. Yeah. Was it Sam? No, it was not actually. She's not here right now. Boom. Got it. Okay. She's not here right now. Maybe she'll show up on Thursday stream though. We just had to move her out of college, which was pretty great. As you guys are probably quite aware, on Saturday's live stream, I told you we had a later live stream because she just graduated. So today we had to move her out. Okay. Sorry. Enough about Sam. God. Okay. How many episodes? Obviously 8. Where to watch it? Disney Plus. Okay. Well, that's sort of all we know. The plot is the big part of all that. So Ahsoka season 2 is also next year. So then you throw into the mix that the fact is probably we're going to get another season of Tales of the Something, because Tales of the Empire was last year, Tales of the Underworld was this year, and then 2 years before was Tales of the Jedi. So it seems like they're going to go probably on May the 4th. Yeah, we've moved a lot of stuff today. Poor Sam, poor me. No, just kidding. But Ahsoka season 2 will be coming out next year. So when we look at the next year and a half-ish of Star Wars content, it might go down, and you even add Andor season 2 to it, it might go down as one of the greatest Star Wars time periods, 2-year stretches, I guess, of all time. Andor season 2, Ahsoka season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Visions volume 3, Maul, Shadow Lord. We are just living it up over here as Star Wars fans. Like, this is just insanity at this point. How good we have it. The one concern I have, not really a concern as much as a lack of patience, and that is, like I mentioned earlier in the live stream, that Ahsoka season 2 is the final live-action Star Wars show. Not ever, but at least the only ones that are announced. So with that being said, tell me in the chat, which of these projects that we just talked about, Visions Volume 3, Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2, Maul Shadow Lord, Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and Ahsoka Season 2, of those 5 projects, which one are you most excited about? Actually, let's put up a poll in the chat. Let's end the last poll and let's start up a new one. By the way, 63% of you guys still say yes. You think that Andor will get a spinoff series? What's the spinoff show? What's the series? I want a Cal Kestis show. I'd love that. I think Cal's more likely to show up, I guess, in other shows. But I guess only time will tell. All right, let's do this. Which upcoming, easy for me to spell, Star Wars project are you most excited about? And I only get 4 options, so I'm only going to give you 4. Rebuild the Galaxy. Sorry, you don't make the cut. Okay. In order. Visions, Volume 3. If it's Rebuild the Galaxy, you just tell me in the chat because I don't know why. I just doubt it is. Okay. Maul, Shadow Lord. That's Shadon Lord. Shadow Lord. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Or Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka Season 2. There we go. Which one are you most excited for? It's a Clea show. She needs a ride. I'd love a Clea show, but I just don't see it happening. I don't know what it is. I just don't. A prequel to Narkina 5, the Narkina 5 guard who first shocked Andor when he arrives. That would be the most specific spin-off show of all time. Now, okay, you could say that Andor is the most specific one, but he's at least a main character of Rogue One. You're talking about the sidest of side characters who has one scene in the entire show getting a spin-off show? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. I still haven't watched Andor Season 1 or Andor Season 2. What are you doing? Leave this stream immediately and go start watching. We're talking about the greatest show of all time, Honey Badger. Not one of, not Star Wars, just shows, period. End of sentence. You want more? You want enough? You want enough? Of the 31,000 people who voted on this poll, 53% say it's the greatest Star Wars show ever. Drop whatever you're doing for the next 3 days and watch it from beginning to end. A serial spinoff show? That'd be pretty hard, seeing that, an Edie show. See, now I'd watch that. I'd watch that. Mike, did you hear that they added Mara Jade's lightsaber to Galaxy's Edge? Don't know how news that is, but it's insane. Yeah, we talked about that. I think that happened before Star Wars Celebration even. But we thought that would turn into a Mara Jade show being announced at Star Wars Celebration. Because sometimes when they put those Legends characters or even just certain characters into the Galaxy's Edge stuff, that means that there's an announcement coming for that character. And that didn't happen, which was kind of a bummer. I still think, and what I said on Saturday's live stream is true, what Andor Season 2 just accomplished with how successful it was, it allows the ability for a character like Mara Jade to appear in the Mandoverse, even become Luke Skywalker's wife, and that still work, even though she's not mentioned or seen in the sequel trilogy. Much like Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano is one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time, in my personal opinion. And she's the apprentice to Anakin, the apprentice to the main character of the whole freaking saga. And yet she's not mentioned once or seen once in the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy. So the way that you can get around it is the same way they got around it with Ahsoka and got around it with Andor and Luthen and all these other characters. So Mara Jade could definitely be involved in that same story with Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Honey Badger, I'm honestly jealous of you that you have the ability to watch Andor Season 1 and Season 2 for the first time. Can we, wipe our brains some? Ooh, the you guys know, what's the movie called? Men in Black? Where they have that sort of, you'll forget this, and then they flash. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Where they flash the thing and you forget. Yeah, obviously. I need that so I can rewatch Andor for the first time. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the other thing was, I wanted to ask, because I asked you guys this on Saturday stream, which season was better, Andor Season 1 or Andor Season 2? Because online there was sort of a, I guess, back and forth on which season is truly better. And I put up the poll in the community tab. It's already got 12,000 votes. It's still rising as we speak. But I was pleased with the results. But I'll show you the result in a second. I want to do call-ins. We haven't done call-ins in months, literally months. So I want to do some call-ins today on the live stream. So if you are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join that immediately, because in that Discord, there is a channel called Call-ins. And now I'm starting a stage for those call-ins, and we're going to get any of you guys that are in the chat right now to come in here, because I want to talk next Star Wars projects and what you thought of Andor Season 2. So let's do some call-ins right now. The way it works is you have to come into that thing and raise your hand, press the raise your hand thing, and then we'll get you in and we'll talk to you guys on the live stream. So get on in there, and while you do, while people get in that, let's put up this in on the screen here. Which is better, Andor Season 1 or Andor Season 2? You guys tell me in the chat, but look at this poll with 12,000 votes. Over 12,000 votes. Andor Season 2 has a commanding lead, to say the least. Commanding. Almost 80-20. 79-21. That's insane. That's insane. And as I see many of you in the chat saying too, Season 2 is so much better. Obviously, Season 1 is necessary because you get introduced to all these characters. You wouldn't know who Bix was. You wouldn't have that connection to Vel or Luthen or Clea. So yes, you have to know who these characters are to have an emotional connection to them leading into Season 2. So it's necessary. And don't get me wrong by any means. Season 1 is spectacular. It is. Even before Season 2 was released, Season 1 was a top 3 or 4 Star Wars shows for me. Behind Mando and Ahsoka, it was probably 3. So it's a top 3 show for me. With Season 2, it's jumped up into the top 2 easily. But Season 1 is that good. So I'm not putting down Season 1 by any means. But Season 2 is just that much better. And that's saying something. That's saying something about Season 2, how good it truly is. And might I remind you, chat, might I remind you that it's currently sitting at on Rotten Tomatoes at a 98, and on IMDb, it is the only show ever, not Star Wars show, but the only show ever how do I get to the season? Oh, here it is. The only show ever to have a 9.5 or higher in 5 straight episodes. 9.8, 9.7, 9.6, 9.5, 9.6. The only show of all time. That's insane. That's insane. It's not insane because it's wrong. It's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. It's insane. Mando Season 2 versus Andor Season 2. That's a very difficult conversation to have. Here's the deal. Ahsoka Season 1, as you know, holds a very near and dear thing in my heart. Oh, Collins. Yeah, shit. I should probably keep an eye on that. If any of you were trying to call in over the last whatever minutes, I did not see it, so try again. Ahsoka Season 1 holds a place very near and dear in my heart. Mando Season 2 is also one of the greatest seasons of all time. Is Andor Season 2 better than Mando Season 2? You guys tell me in the chat. Mando Season 2 versus Andor Season 2. Which one is better? What do we think? How confident are we in Battlefront 3 game now that everybody's riding online? Honestly, it's definitely got the attention of Lucasfilm already. I watched all the live streams for Star Wars Celebration, and everybody in that chat was spamming about Battlefront 3. So Lucasfilm knows. The only problem is, it's when did they find out? When did they find out that to so many Star Wars fans, Battlefront 3 is probably the most important thing? Because it could take years and years and years to develop a game like that. It's an enormous game. Yeah. So it could take a long, long time. Yeah. A very long time. Yeah. All right, let's see it. Mando Season 2, Andor. Okay. Mando. They're very different shows. True. Andor Season 2. Mando, Andor. Oh my God, we're very split on this. Hashtag Battlefront 3. Mando over everything. Brought us all back. I wouldn't say that. It brought you back, maybe. Andor Season 2 is better than Mando Season 2. Yeah. Mando had me crying my eyes out multiple times over, even on rewatch. Yes. But especially episodes 8 and 9. But even episodes... all these 5 episodes, honestly, had me feeling that same way. The reality is, this 5-episode run right here, from episode 8 to episode 12, is better than the top 5 episodes of Mando Season 2. I think the highs of Mando Season 2, of Luke showing up, of Ahsoka coming into live action, Boba Fett's awesome, cool showdown stuff, that's better than any of the highs probably in Andor Season 2. But as a whole, I think Andor Season 2 is the better season. It's such a crazy argument. They're two just unbelievably 10 out of 10 seasons. It's a question of which is better. It's so ridiculously hard to even put them over each other, you know? I'd take Battlefront 3 over GTA 6. Fight me. I would not fight you on that. GTA 6 is going to be cool and I get it, but Battlefront 3, I mean, come on. If it's Battlefront 3 with like so many more playable characters like Ahsoka, like just Din Djarin, Grogu, like these more minor characters, Cassian, like the show's characters instead of just the main heroes of the saga, it would be incredible. Yeah. Even after watching Andor, nothing could possibly change my opinion on The Mandalorian. I'd say go watch it first. I'd say go watch it first. yeah. I don't know about that. I think you underestimate how good Andor season 2 is. Yeah. Okay. Let me end this poll really quickly so I can start up this other one because somebody said pull it up. I'll pull it up, Darth Kratos. I'll do it. Okay. Which Star Wars project are you most excited? Upcoming Star Wars project are you most excited for? Wow. The Ahsoka season 2 hype in the chat. 42% of you say Ahsoka season 2. 29% say The Mandalorian and Grogu. 25% say Maul Shadow Lord, and 3% say Visions. Wow. That's almost the opposite of what the poll on the community tab says, but okay. Let's do it. Let's poll it up. Which single season is better? Andor season 2 or The Mandalorian season 2? Now, Honey Badger, I know that you've not watched it yet, but you're going to be absolutely shocked by the results of this poll because I can already tell you that Andor season 2 is going to win by a heavy margin. Okay. Oh my God, Ian. That's crazy. All right. Ahsoka season 2, I'm already looking forward to. I know. It's so far away, but at the same time, it's so close you can almost taste it. Again, my big concern, though, is that after Ahsoka season 2, there's no more live action Star Wars projects. And that might not be good. That Luke scene was pretty sick. Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, I feel like everybody was just bawling their eyes out when that happened. You know? But that's the same feeling I got at the end of the massacre. That's the same feeling I got at the end of Bix leaving. That's the same feeling I got when Luthen died. Like, so good. Yeah, it's better. It's better. It's just better. It's just better. It's so crazy to say. Because The Mandalorian season 2 to me was always just like the top dog. And obviously Ahsoka, but that's just a me thing, I think. But the fact that Andor season 2 is better, and it just is, it's crazy. It's crazy. And obviously it's a very opinion-based thing we're talking about here. So if you do like Mando season 2 better, that's not to say I hate you. I hate you. Now, everybody has their own opinions and we have to respect them all. Yeah. What does Ahsoka season 2 taste like, Mike? You know what it tastes like? Have you ever not had like cake, like your favorite type of cake, whatever that is? Have you ever not had that in a long time? And then you go to eat it and you have that first bite and you're like, is this what heaven feels like? Or let me rephrase. Have you ever watched the end of Andor season 2, episode 8 or 9 for the first time and you're like, and goosebumps are all over your arms and you're like, have you ever watched The Mandalorian and Mandalorian season 2 for the first time and Luke Skywalker shows up and you're like, ah! Have you ever watched for the first time Ahsoka and Ahsoka falls off the cliff after fighting Bail and Skull and she arrives in the world between worlds and you hear Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen say, hello, Snips? Damn, just me saying that gave me goosebumps. Oh, I gotta go rewatch Ahsoka. Okay. Yes, so the future is bright for Star Wars. And by the way, this poll is not surprising at all. 72% of you right now say that Andor Season 2 is better than Mando Season 2. 72%. That's crazy. What a crazy world we live in here. And it's so funny, too, because as a Star Wars channel... Oh, by the way, can we celebrate a little bit in the chat? Can we get a little bit of a celebration, chat? We did just hit 160,000 subscribers just the other day when we had an off day. I think it was Sunday. So can we celebrate a little bit? Can we celebrate a little bit? Hit it! But as I was saying, yes, 160,000. I could not appreciate you all any more than you could possibly imagine, okay? Like, think about how much you could be appreciated by somebody and triple it. No, quadruple it. Because that's how much I appreciate you guys for being here right now, for you being here ever, and hitting that subscribe, of course. So 160,000 is absolutely insane. I appreciate it. But being... I don't even remember what my point was. Shit. What was I saying before I... What was I saying, chat? Something about tastes like cake. Jessica, what's up? Something about followers. Oh, yes. Okay. I remember. Damien, what's up? Okay. I remember. Thank God. Okay. So, as I was saying, being that we have 160,000 subscribers on this channel, I get a ton of messages all the time, comments, whatever, about how Star Wars is dead. Disney ruined Star Wars. Star Wars hasn't been good since whatever. All those types of messages. And to that I say, what they gonna say now? As the great Jason Tatum once said. What they gonna say now? To those people, I actually saw it. It was really funny today. On one of my shorts from this week, I think, I saw a comment that said, "Who cares? Disney Star Wars sucks." Somebody responded to that. It wasn't me. Somebody responded and said, "What about Rogue One?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. You got me there." It's almost like because of the sequel trilogy, because of just Disney in general, in the state of Disney, because of these remakes, live action remakes and stuff like that people aren't really fans of. Snow White just bombed. They had a bunch of bombs last year too. Because of the state of Disney as a whole, people just look at that and throw in Star Wars into the mix. It's just not the case, okay? It's just not. And I get people have their own personal opinions, but here's the reality of the situation, okay? You got anything you could possibly imagine right now as a Star Wars fan. Any aspects of the Star Wars universe that you desire, that you like, you have. Do you like the lightsabers and the Force and all that? Ahsoka, the Acolyte, Kenobi. Do you like ground level bounty hunting missions? That's Din Djarin and Grogu in The Mandalorian. Or Boba Fett, I guess. Do you like the Star Wars animation of the clones? You got the 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, or even better, 3 seasons of the Bad Batch. And if you want more of the grounded level spy drama stuff, you got one of the greatest shows of all time, and that is Andor. So we're just sitting here, eating good as Star Wars fans. And to those people, I say, how's it going? I say, have you met my friend Disney Plus? Because it's loaded with greatness. Yeah. Okay. Andor tastes like great whiskey. There you go. Clone Wars Season 8, 9, and 10 with Darth Maul. Well, wouldn't Clone Wars Season 8, 9, and 10 be the Bad Batch? So wouldn't the Maul series be Clone Wars Season 11, 8, and 9? Oh my God, I forgot about the call-ins. Damn it! Did anybody try to get in these call-ins? Oh my God. Okay, we're going to get Brandon in. Brandon, we're getting you in here. Oh, I forgot about the call-ins. Hang on. We're going to get Brandon in here. Brandon.
Oh,
Oh, hello there.
how you doing?
Oh, there he is. Okay, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, Good. I'm doing good.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, I completely forgot about these call-ins, so somebody reminded me in the
It's
chat.
all good.
Shout out to JC. Yeah, I opened it probably like 10 minutes ago and went on a crazy rant about I don't know how good cake tastes or something. I don't even remember. I blacked out. So
Oh, yes, I heard.
we
Mhm.
we're coming off the backs of this is our first week without Andor season 2. So first things first, let's start
Mhm.
with a scale of 1 to 10. What did you think of Andor season 2 just in general as a whole?
Oh my goodness. I thought after watching all the episodes, an absolute 10. I love every single moment of that whole season. I really did. And I thought it was awesome too.
That's
And I
that.
love
No, go ahead.
mhm. and and also I love how they did the stories too, and especially the arcs and the acting as well. I thought that was like really cool as well.
Yeah,
Especially like when they did the Gorman Ombe, especially when they did the Gorman Ombe, excuse me, Master Cure
yeah,
arc as well,
yeah.
and it was really cool. I'm not gonna lie. So
No,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, like you just mentioned, the acting has been sort of the big key part of what a lot of people are saying. Acting and writing. I mean,
yeah,
so many people say they try to compare it to all these other projects like we're doing right now, comparing it to the Mandalorian and
right,
Grogu. But comparing projects, comparing acting, comparing writing, very hard to do in the Star Wars
yeah.
universe, especially with a project like Andor that's so different. But yeah, the Gorman Massacre, whew, chef's kiss,
Oh yeah, no,
perfection.
and they were the best episodes out of them. I
Yeah,
really love how they really, I love them. I
yeah.
really did.
I
I
really
don't
think
think they really topped those.
Yeah, I think really season 2 took a turn in that 7th, 8th episode during the Gorman Massacre, and it just never looked back. Like it was just straight peak the rest of the way, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I'll throw one more crazy question at you, and then we'll get the next
Okay.
person in because we got a couple people in
Oh
there
yeah,
now.
no problem.
Okay. So first one, the last question, I guess, first and last
Mhm.
is which of the upcoming Star Wars projects we talked about today? You got Visions Volume 3,
Mhm.
Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2, Ahsoka Season 2, Mandalorian Grogu movie, Maul Shadow Lord. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Ooh. Okay, now I love all. Okay, now I love all of them, of course, but I think the one I'm looking forward to the most, I would say the least, right now, is Ahsoka season 2. It's definitely on my top list.
Yeah, I think you're probably, I mean, the poll said sort of a very similar thing. I think what got people
Yeah.
so hyped up, and you can probably attest to this, is what Dave Filoni had to say at
Mhm.
Star Wars Celebration. What he came out and said was
Oh
just
yeah.
like, "Oh my God, we have to see that immediately." You know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being shout out to Brandon. He's of course one of the two moderators we have in the chat right now with Fearless. So shout out to Brandon for all the hard and great work you do.
Oh yeah.
But I appreciate you, Brandon. All right, we're gonna get you on out of here so you can get back to work.
All right. No problem.
Keep
All right
this
then.
chat
See ya.
sane. See ya. All right. So we'll get somebody else on in here. If you just gotta raise your hand. I see a couple people in the audience there. You gotta raise your hand so I can select you in there. Shout out to Brandon. Huge round of applause for Brandon. Brandon is a goat around here, as we know. Moderator on both the Discord and the live streams, of course. So yeah, we'll get somebody else in here. If you gotta raise your hand. You gotta raise your hand. You gotta raise your hand. But absolutely. I could not agree with what he's saying more. I think Ahsoka Season 2, the hype level for it is because of what Dave Filoni revealed. This whole big battle with Thrawn. Really, the heir to the Empire is what we're talking about here. That's what we want to see. But yeah. What's up, Alex? How we doing? What's up, Alex? How we doing? Okay. I think I have one more article to get to here. Hold on a sec. There was something else I was looking at here. Oh, yeah. So somebody brought this up. So a lot of us missed this, but in Andor Season 2, this Gungan skull is seen, and I'll keep an eye on the Discord this time for real this time. This Gungan skull is seen in Luthen's gallery. So people made a bunch of jokes about Jar Jar Binks being killed, and now his head is in Luthen's gallery. But somebody brought up, and let me pull it up here really quickly. Somebody brought up this. Darth Revan. Oh, what? That's not what I meant at all. Hang on. Somebody brought this up. Darth Revan's emblem, or logo, if you will, is this. And if you look over here, the Gungan skull has that logo right there on the nose. Yeah, it's a Sith symbol. Like, what are we doing? Andor's the strangest show of all time. It's got no connections to the Jedi, no connections to the Force, no connections to anything like that. And yet it throws in the craziest lore things. What's going on here? What's going on? You're giving us Rakatan Empire stuff. You're giving us ancient artifacts from Kit Fisto's species, which I'm forgetting what they're called. The starts with an N, I think. Whatever it is. Just random lore craziness. And yet, no Force, no lightsaber, no, none of that stuff, you know? None of the crazy, normal Star Wars stuff. Just Darth Revan references on a Gungan skull. You know? The usual. What? Somehow Darth Jar Jar returns? Maybe. Perhaps somebody bonded to Darth Revan's empire or Darth Revan's empire. Maybe. I mean, just what's the purpose of throwing that in there? You know, just for fans like us to figure it out and see it and be like, "What the hell is this?" Nautilins, thank you. Yes, Nautilins. It's craziness. It's craziness. It also begs the question: what else did we miss in Andor season 2? You know. What else was missing? Because I didn't even catch this. I don't even know where this is. Like where they see that. I have no idea. But that's pretty wild. Oh, they did post. Hang on. Yeah, let me pull this up. Star Wars did post something today about Andor season 2. Let's check it out. Oh. That's brutal. Oh my goodness. They posted 3 things. Check this out. Check this out, Chad. They posted these 3 different variations of Cassian, episode 10, 11, 12. They also posted this of Kalea, episode 10, 11, 12. And then the brutal Dedra, episode 10, 11, 12. Oh, so crazy. It really was the perfect ending to all these different characters. Obviously, Luthen's death, but given the perfect end to Dedra, to characters who still actually survived the events of this. Wild. Not only did it have the tough goal of setting up Rogue One perfectly, because Rogue One is an incredible movie, but putting an end cap to all these different characters who aren't in Rogue One was so difficult to do. Huh. It's insane. Yeah. I wonder if they incorporate the shop into the Disney parks. Huh. You mean the like Luthen's gallery? That would be pretty cool. Bones in the Gungan ears? Yeah, I'd guess there would be some sort of bone in there, right? Yeah, I guess. Dedra being in Narkina 5 was karma for her. Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't Narkina 5, but yeah. Definitely some sort of Narkina. Dedra looks way older in the last scene. I guess. Not really. She just looks more mangled, I guess. Not the Imperial way. This is the way. Darth Jar Jar actually overthrows Papa Palpatine? Just kidding. Well, I doubt it, so yeah. This was so cool. I mean, talk about poetry, it rhymes type deal. this is why Andor season 2 is better than Mando season 2. Okay, I was on the edge first, and now it's 100% fact. I mean, it's crazy because episode 9 ends with Bix going, "We'll meet again. We'll do all those things that we said we were going to do. Like, this is going to be great." Blah blah blah. Oh, it's so heartbreaking. You can feel the chills going through my body right now. This is where Cassian's story ends, looking out as he's about to die to this fiery explosion from the Death Star. This is where Bix's story ends in season 2, on more of a hopeful note, with Cassian Jr., or Casa, if you will, staring off into the distance on Mina Rao in Thanos' cornfield. What? No. One more thing I gotta put an end cap on before we get on out of here, Chet. Do you think Leia is Cassian's sister? Yes or no? Because I've seen so many people online saying that yes, they think that Leia is Cassian's sister. Why else would they show us the sort of connection there and then show us the flashback to Cassian's sister? I'm leaning more towards no, because they didn't just outright tell us. But maybe that's why they didn't outright tell us, because Cassian goes and he dies. You know? I do have a couple more things I want to show you guys before we get on out of here, both related to Andor season 2. Wait, where was this one? I think one is on Instagram. Maybe it's not. Hang on. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. It's on TikTok, maybe. I don't even know anymore. Yes, here it is. Okay. Watch this, Jen.
The Energy Project.
Oops. People are so good at these edits, so much
The Energy Project.
Whoa, damn it. So much so that we got to watch this. So this is coming from Trippy, I guess? Oh, wait, no. It's coming from Star Wars FT Editing. Check this out.
Palpatine's energy push
It's a lie. All of it.
It's a weapon. Okay, they're building a weapon, a super weapon. Everything we've been chasing, that's the answer.
Okay.
Gorman,
It's a front from the start. A cover to strip mine the planet for some mineral that they need.
Scarif, Jeddah, the obsession with Kyber, it's all been part of one big lie. It's all about this weapon.
What kind of weapon? Where will you take us?
What kind of a weapon are we talking about?
Planet Killer! That's what we call it!
Planet Killer.
We call it the
so
Death
good.
Star. There is no better name, and the day is coming soon when it will be unleashed. I've placed a weakness deep within the system, a flaw so small and powerful they will never find it. But Jen, if you're listening...
Now you're too late. The rebellion isn't here anymore. It's flown away. It's everywhere now. There's a whole galaxy out there waiting to disgust you.
When do we start fighting back?
We have.
By walking away.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force. We fight to win.
At least we lose. And lose and lose and lose. Until we're ready. No one can do this alone. He knew that. He just couldn't swallow his pride.
Thank the galaxy, he didn't. He stayed for this. He stayed for what I just told you. He stayed to figure this out. And you need to tell these people in Yavin what they're up against.
It must be destroyed. If she's telling the truth, we need to act now.
Oh, it sounds like a paranoid fantasy.
Listen, Rael died for this.
My father gave his life so that we may have a chance to defeat this.
So you've told us.
Based on nothing but hope. Rebellions built on hope.
Rebellions are built on hope.
I say we fight.
I say this. Deflect the shields down to 50%.
There's no turning back now.
Keep going! Keep going!
Who are you?
I'm Jane Austen.
You die with the rebellion. Rogue One, may the Force be with you.
Feed, what is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
I mean, come on. All right, I don't even know anymore. It might, Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, and Rogue One might be the greatest trilogy of all time. I'm talking better than the prequels. I'm talking better than the originals. I'm talking better than any other trilogy you want to put up against the Godfather trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It might be the greatest trilogy of all time. Like you watch that and you're like, oh my God. It incorporates not only the monologue from Luthen in Season 1, but like you don't understand watching Rogue One, watching A New Hope, that these characters, what they did for this, like this is everything. That's the only way to describe it, is everything. It's so damn good. Luthen Rael is one of my favorite characters of all time now. He's top 10 easy. Easy. And we didn't even know he existed. We don't know how important he is to the rebellion. As Clea says, be thankful that he did, that he stayed on Coruscant, because the information that Rael gives to them, obviously Lonnie, shout out to Lonnie, because he doesn't get the love he deserves, because Lonnie was, the GOAT, but he gives them everything. He's the one who put Lonnie there, so that's a whole other thing too. But it's so good. It's so good. Crazy. It is crazy. I might go rewatch Andor Season 2 right now. So yeah, there's a lot of edits online that are really, really good. I saw another thing too that was like, couldn't save his sister, couldn't save his mom, couldn't save Bix, I guess, or girlfriend, whatever you want to call her. Couldn't save his couldn't save all Donnie people. Nemec couldn't save it was just like a bunch of people he couldn't save, and then there's like, but he saved everybody else. He saved the entire galaxy. Cassian, we got to start talking about Cassian in the conversation of some of these great Star Wars characters. We really do. Because although Luthen's one of my favorites of the show, Cassian's the main character. He's the one who has all this storytelling being done. He's the one who we're really watching evolve into the rebel that we see in Rogue One, making the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good that eventually turns into the Death Star plans and what happens in the original trilogy. But we got to start talking about Cassian Andor as one of the most pivotal, important characters in the entire Star Wars saga. In the entire thing. Because he really is. Without him, really none of it works. The prequels, I guess, work, but nothing after that. Nothing after that. And he's got probably the third or fourth most screen time of any Star Wars character. It's crazy. Mithrin dear, what's up? How we doing? It's so good. After watching all the way through Star Wars Episode 4, the medal ceremony felt so much different now. Oh yeah. I've seen that a lot online too. Luke and Han get gold medals. You watch Andor and you're like, oh my God. It's heartbreaking. Because obviously you can't give Cassian, Luthen, really Jyn Erso, any of them medals. But what they did for the rebellion was so much more than the week that Luke Skywalker spent. Obviously, he kills the Death Star, but so much more than Han Solo ever did. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. But I guess you can't give a medal to a dead guy. Yeah. Yeah. Can't give a medal to a dead guy, but All right. I do have to get on out of here. Go finish a short before tonight. So I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. This was an insane stream. Going through and, giving all the greatness that is to come. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. Look at it this way. 2026, I guess, and 2025, the 1-2 punch of these 2 years that leads us directly into 2027, which who knows what the future of Star Wars looks like after that. You got a bunch of movies in the works. Dawn of the Jedi, Star Wars, Starfighter, the Rey movie, Simon Kinberg trilogy. Obviously, we got a ton of stuff to look forward to. But from the 1-2 punch of 2025, 2026, peak. We're living on peaks. The mountain. We're going through a mountain range. The words I was looking for. A mountain range. Right now we're at the peak of one. And that peak is a freaking plateau. We're at the peak for a long, long time here, chat. And it's going to be amazing. We get to go through it together as the people who love Star Wars. And that's even the best part about it, too. Because we got over 100 people here. We had almost 100 people here today for the entirety of the stream. And that means the people who love Star Wars just keep on growing. Just keep on growing. And I appreciate it so much more than you'll ever know. So smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Let's end this poll, by the way. See what you guys like better. Andor Season 2 or Mando Season 2 with 72%. Andor Season 2. Not even close. Not even close. It's awesome. I love Andor Season 2 so much, and I can't wait to go rewatch it, honestly. But, yeah. So, smash a freaking like on the stream if you haven't already. Oh, I forgot about the call-ins. Damn it. We got to get better about these call-ins, chat. Somebody's got to get on me. Okay. But huge shout out to Brandon for the call-in. That was great. Darth Plagueis Lives and Star Wars Academy for the very generous super chats. I appreciate it. All right. But until next time, smash a freaking like on the stream and may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. You guys are this was just, I can't even put it into words, chat. We had 160,000 subscribers the other day. That's absurd. That's insane. I can't even think of 160 people. Never mind 160,000. Maybe we should try and name 160,000 Star Wars characters in the next live stream. What do we think? Yeah, no, maybe. Okay. Until then, watch out for a short tonight, maybe even a video tomorrow, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. And of course, live stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for the rest of your lives. So, and yeah, while you wait for those, I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of those lives, and good night, everybody.